Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today is the ultimate Kirby setup tour. So I just want to clarify that this is going to be like the part one of the actual setup itself. So like the desk, the monitors, the shelves, all that kind of good stuff. Because if I tried to do where literally everything is from, including all of the Kirby items that you can see, and as you can see there is quite a lot, this video would literally be about 10 hours long, and this is my first video back in 2 years, so I don't want to overwhelm myself, okay? So I'm going to split it into two parts. A week from today I will be in Tokyo, so as you can imagine I will be buying loads more Kirby stuff, so I thought it was best to wait until I'm home from Japan and then I can do an updated full collection and recommendations on where you can get cute Kirby stuff too. So I am going to be linking everything down in the description, but if you have any questions please do comment and I will be able to help as much as possible. So starting off is the desk itself, and it is the IKEA Malm desk, I think is how you say it. I got this because it has like a little pull-out bit on the side, which is really handy. I mean, it was handy before I got this ginormous Kirby display shelf, which I will be going into more detail about shortly. But now it can only go a certain way out because there's not much room. But I do use it just for like random bits and bobs, little figures and that. But it is a really good sized desk. My first monitor is the Acer KG221Q. It is a really inexpensive monitor. Originally, I actually had two monitors. The second one was very, very similar to that Acer one that I have now. And I will just let you know the errors of my ways. I actually hand painted that screen pink, which was a really bad decision. I thought it was going to be very precise, but when you hand paint you can see all of the paint strokes, so I really don't recommend. From far away it looked really nice, but if you were up close it did not look very nice. So when I got this one I knew I wanted to do the job properly, so I actually spray painted it pink myself. I used Wilko's own brand pink spray paint. If you're in the UK you'll know Wilko has literally just gone bust, so rest in peace Wilko. Mine was glossy, it wasn't matte, just because I read online somewhere that if you use matte it can like scratch off really easy. The only bit I was nervous about was like doing it over the buttons, but they literally work absolutely fine. I don't want to say that and then you do it and then it's bad, so obviously do it per your own judgment, okay? The second monitor, I get questions about this all the time because I have a wallpaper engine background on it with like loads of little Kirbys running around, and I always get comments like, what is the screen with the Kirbys running around? So it's actually just an old monitor. I got it from like a cash converters, like a local one. It was like £20. It was really cheap. It doesn't have like a remote with it, but it's got all buttons at the top, how you can control it, change the channel and all that. And then I have my Disney Princess CRT. This was my Facebook marketplace find of the century, okay? These tend to go for quite a lot. On eBay I've had my eye on a few and they were pretty expensive, and I was at the point of just like where I was going to buy one, and then I used to check Facebook marketplace constantly for them. There was none, and then this one came up and I was like, hold on, that is so cheap. The person obviously wasn't aware that like they could have sold it for a lot more. It was nowhere near where I live and it was like pick up only, so I DM'd her and I explained the sitch and I was like, I really want it for my setup, I've wanted it for a long time, do you mind holding it on? Like, I'll send the money, I don't care, like whatever. But she was like, it's absolutely fine, and luckily I had family that lived not too far away, so they kindly went and picked it up for me, and it's back here and it works perfectly fine. I put on my N64 on it most of the time and play a bit of Ocarina of Time, my favourite game. But yeah, it's just perfect for like retro game consoles. I also have a little DVD player hooked up to it, so I got this from a local charity shop for about £10. So cheap, really great condition, came with the controller, and ever since I've bought it I see them everywhere in charity shops. Like, I can't even tell you, I've gone in so many charity shops now and I've found this same DVD player. So if you're after something similar, I really recommend checking out your local charity shops, because I don't know, I'm like cursed, I just keep finding them everywhere now. And then sitting on top of that is a Sanrio like shelving unit. This is where I store my Tamagotchis. I love them very much. I have no rhyme or reason to like what models I collect. I pretty much just go for ones that I think are cute. These drawers are from Miniso. I also have this amazing Kirby inspired headphone stand. So they are a small business and they 3D printed it themselves, and it is just perfect. When they messaged me I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like the finishing touch to the Kirby setup. And hanging on that, I actually have some Kirby headphones. So these are from TK Maxx. These were so cheap. I mean, you get what you pay for. They're not like the world's greatest. I've spray painted my dock pink, and I also have this dock cover on. It literally just slides over the top, and it is obviously Kirby. It's very cute. I don't know why there's a gun on there, but you know, it's still very cute. Of course, I had to get the new pink and yellow Joy-Con. They are so Kirby. Like, they're just Kirby colors. I love them. I also have this Divoom speaker. I use it just for the little like pixel display. It's so easy to use. You just download an app and people upload their designs, and then you just press a button and it displays on the screen. And speaking of Divoom, I also have the Divoom 64, I think it's called, if I remember correctly, and this is just beautiful. I do eventually want to spray the outside of it pink so it's not as jarring, but I didn't want to risk breaking it. Then I have my pink consoles displayed. Just a top tip for pink consoles, I said this on TikTok the other day, but boot sales and like cash converters, CEX, are all really good for collecting consoles, especially boot sales. I see so many pink, especially like 3DSs and DSs at boot sales. So if you can, I highly recommend going. Some boot sales, my one in particular, you can pay a little bit extra to go in early, where you find like the bargains. So if you can do that, I definitely recommend. Hello, it's Editing Gem here. It's also really dark. I apologise, but basically a whole section of the video was missing. So I'm going to quickly go back over it. So the top shelf here is what I like to call my little random trinket shelf. So this is where I keep most of the stuff that isn't Kirby related. Pokemon, Monster Hunter, I have like a little Hu Tao acrylic stand from Genshin. She is my Genshin fave for life. And I also have these Disney hooks, which I have my Loungefly backpacks hanging from, and just other bags that I really like. I also usually have a pair of Grogu ears hanging on there, but as I'm going to Japan, I have packed a lot of stuff, so they are a little bit bare at the moment. And then just below that, sitting on top of my Mouthful mode shelf, are a couple of plushies that were actually gifted through work, so they're really special to me, so they have their own little place. And I also have this My Melody like basket. So I'm a camera girly. I actually collect cameras, especially pink ones. So that is where I keep like my pink digital cameras. I also have a pink film camera in there, and I also store my film rolls there. I have 3 prints here. One, the Rainbow Curse, is literally just from like a promotional flyer that I shoved into a photo frame, but I thought it looked really cute. The middle one is by one of my tattoo artists. I also have another one of her prints displayed, which I will show soon. And then the top one I actually got at a convention. Artist Ali, I love it. It's holographic, it's sparkly, it's Evangelion. How can you not love it? On to the Mouthful mode itself, the Kirby shelf. This is my favourite part of my collection by far. I won't get into specifics on like who and where I got him from, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I'll give you some tips on how you can potentially get some standees of your own. So when you go into like a local gaming shop, I'm sure you've seen, they'll have like standees of upcoming games. So these get sent to them by the companies who make the game, and they get thrown out for the most part, which sucks because they are beautiful, and I'm sure many of us would love to have them in their collection if you have the space. What I recommend is, if you can, you know, just give your details or just ask. It all depends on who you're asking, what store they're in, what their managers are like, their rules, if they've been in trouble for it before. It all is just, all of that factors in. I was obviously lucky. I knew someone who worked in a store that knew how much I love Kirby and knew this was going to get thrown out. So they did hook me up. It was really funny walking through the shopping centre carrying him. I'll insert some photos, and I also had to put him in the boot of the car, and he literally looked like I was holding him hostage. It was so funny. Yeah, I just got extremely lucky knowing the right people, but obviously they can get in trouble because they are meant to throw them out and dispose of them as per the brand's requests, so don't be sad if you can't. A couple of people actually built their own. I will put up their tweets now. I'm sure if you want to build your own, they'll be able to give you some advice, because mine is just merely cardboard. So When I originally got him, I was gonna put like plushies and stuff on display, but I decided not to. The shelf doesn't actually come that far out, and also it is just cardboard and I really don't want to risk putting any weight on it and damaging it. So I just put games because they're very light. There's no rhyme or reason to the games that are on here other than I really like the cover art. But yeah, that is the Mouthful mode shelf. And then, against all odds, I somehow got a second Mouthful mode shelf. It's just crazy. This one wasn't even me. This was my partner. He managed to get it for me. He saw it in a shop. He asked the right people. He surprised me with it. I'm very, very lucky. They're just my favourite pieces ever. Cloud Shelf and the Heart Shelf are both from a UK shop called The Range. So The Range, if you live here, you'll know that they don't keep the same stock for very long. So I will link them, but I don't know if both of them are still available. And I know through my comments that I don't think they ship internationally. So I'm so sorry if it is in stock and you can't get it. The Cloud Shelf I got ages ago now, so I doubt it's still in stock. The Heart Shelf, I did see a few people in my comments that were from the US that did manage to find one that was kind of similar, I think on Amazon. But I'm sure if you look online, there are heart shelves that are kind of similar but might not just be the exact same. So the Heart Shelf actually came white like the Cloud Shelf too. I hand painted this one pink. It was long, it was tedious, but my gosh, was it so worth it. I knew when I bought it as well that I wanted it specifically to display Kirby items, and yeah, it came out perfect. I love it. Again, I will be doing like a part 2 with like a full rundown of like where everything's from and the Kirby collection and where to buy stuff. I have some more art on the wall. The Korok Kirby print is by yours truly. It is my own piece of art. I also have a Sanrio Monster Hunter collaboration clock. I imported this using like a shipping service from Japan, and sadly it broke in transit. One of the like hands like fell off. It really doesn't bother me too much. I literally bought it because it's like 2 of my favourite things put together. Yeah, if you notice, in every photo and every video is always on the same time. Because it was broke, I didn't bother putting batteries in it and starting it. So yeah, but it's there, it looks cute, I love it. Evangelion print is also one of my favourites. I love it so much so that I got the artist to actually tattoo it on me. My keyboard and mouse are both from Razer. They are part of the Razer Quartz collection. I will throw up on screen their exact names because I can't remember off the top of my head. However, I will say I've had both of these for years now, and they definitely have newer versions, so just keep that in mind. I don't know if they still stock the older versions, but if you're after something a bit more new, I would recommend maybe buying the more current ones. And I also got this Kirby mouse mat through the Nintendo reward scheme where you get like the point. I really hope I haven't missed anything out. I am going to continually update these videos because I am already planning on changing bits of the setup, so I will do continuous updates, I'm sure. As mentioned like a million times probably, I am going to Japan very, very soon, so I am going to be doing Japan vlogs. I have so much Kirby stuff planned while I'm there, I can't even tell you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for watching my Kirby setup. Next time, I will see you in Japan. Bye!